Hey guys, with the addition of floor 6, I honestly feel like the rewards are pretty underwhelming, and I want to talk about that today. But before I do, just what's out there, today is going to be an edited video. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and if you maybe think about liking and subscribing, maybe like goal 777 likes if you guys want to, help us out. But anyway, let's talk about floor 6 today. So what's going on with floor 6? Well, they added in a new summoning mechanic, which is really good. I think it's a very cool and interesting idea. They went away from how Reaper Scythe originally worked, where it summoned, mobs at 20% of your stats, to a new ability which mobs drop souls, and now you can pick up their soul and summon them at your will and stuff like that. You definitely just read the item description to kind of learn what it does. And to kind of maximize this new mechanic, i.e. pick up dungeon mob souls, you need this new item called the Summoner. And not that you need it, unless you want to run in the dungeon with a Reaper Scythe trying to kill mobs. You can do that, but you're going to have a really bad time. So having this in your inventory, when you kill mobs, especially dungeon mobs, has a chance to drop a soul, you can pick them up, get a very cool, powerful weapon. Awesome. Or mobs. You can get up to 2 of them, which is pretty cool. If you guys want to, see more about the Summoner Ring, maybe I'll make a video on it, because I do want to play Necromancer build. Definitely maybe like next floor or something, that I can somehow get together the full set. But there is an issue with that, which is the new set they have added in with the new floor, which is the Necromancer set, which again, it is an interesting set. It only buffs the mob, or the your mobs from your summoning by 20%, which is kind of lame, I guess you could say. It's pretty low at the end of the day, like 20% boost when the Golem mob, which, so I don't have any, evidence, but someone told me that on the stats it does 150k. So it doing 20% bonus is only 30k more damage, which is not much. It does let you, however, have additional soul per weapon, so your scythe could have up to 4 souls. But there's a whole part of that mechanic where like some of them cost a lot of mana and stuff like that. But beyond that, this is the tankiest set we have so far in the game, especially from dungeons. Like, this beats out Superior in like a heartbeat. Almost 300 defense when fully enchanted, and pretty much 400 health when fully, maxed out. It is a good set, mind you, in that sense. Unfortunately, the abilities are a little on the lower, the ability is kind of weak. I wish I had a little bit more oomph to it, maybe like a, additional special ability for the, your summon mobs, but whatever. So on that note, since we're on the whole Necromancer trend, there's also the new Necromancer Sword, which I guess you could call a worse version of the Reaper Scythe. Again, I don't know why they wouldn't make this the primo sword for summoning, as in, have 4 souls minimum. Maybe give it a little higher stats. Maybe get rid of that defense, give an additional mob soul, something like that. Because it makes no sense for the brand new item, requires 750 runs to get, to be worse than the Reaper Scythe. Because you're not even going to be using this sword. With 250, 125, why would you even use this thing? It's garbage. I mean, it's good. Okay, it's good if you have no other good weapon and you happen to pick it up, but beyond that, not really that usable. So that pretty much covers the main loot, besides the fact that I want to talk about the Bedrock chest. So the Bedrock chest is a pretty big limiter. Thankfully for this floor, you can get the chest after 500 runs, which is very nice considering you couldn't do that for the previous floor. Because getting Shadow Assassin chestplate was a pain. I think I got like 2 and maybe 200 runs, so I mean, I guess that's lucky, I guess, or normal RNG. But it's still a struggle to, get the new item, especially if they're in the Bedrock chest. There's also the new Giant Sword item, which is pretty much like an ink wand, but it's a dungeon item, I guess. It's an okay item, but again, it's not worth the money, and it could be better. And a Yeti Sword is about half as good, or 2.5 times worse. So, and Yeti Sword has a 1-second cooldown compared to a 30-second cooldown. So, it's just kind of Why bother using it? There's also the new Reforged Stones, which these are not that impressive. I wouldn't even, bother thinking about. There's the Giant's Tooth and the Empowered Brooch. They both kind of suck. So it's just kind of alright, not even going to bother with those. Who really cares at the end of the day? So that pretty much covers most of the new stuff, besides the new Ulti Enchant, which is an insanely powerful enchant. It makes me question if Chimera is even worth farming for anymore. And it is called Swarm. For every enemy around you, you get 6.25% damage, right? And most of the time when you're in the dungeon, there is a lot of mobs around you, especially in this new floor. there is literally at least 4 mobs, like 10 mobs around you, depending on the phase. So you're going to be getting a big damage boost, like minimum 20%. Even with one enemy around you, you get a 6% damage boost. 6% is a lot, mind you. 6% of this number is comparable to the Necromancer set getting, 20% boost on the Golem. Since most people can hit about, I'd say not most people, but like I hit around like 500k on the Inquisitor, not the Inquisitor, the like Menos follower type mobs, right? So this enchant can do 30k extra damage, which is like quite a bit of damage, mind you. It's literally the same as the Necromancer ability for the Necromancer mobs. So this is a very powerful enchant, and as there's more enemies around you, considering each new floor seems to be literally just a fiesta with a bunch of mobs around you, this is a great enchant to have, especially if you're Berserker, Archer, maybe even Mage. Like, this thing will help you a lot, because if you have somehow 16 mobs around you, you are literally dealing like 100% bonus damage. Like, what's really better than that? There's not really much better than dealing double your damage just because you have an enchant. Now, maybe not work like that. I have not used the enchant, but just from the information it shows on it, it is very good and definitely the top item, which does make me kind of take back my statement of saying is loot underwhelming. But I mean, it kind of is. The price of this thing is already in like the dumpster, so it's a good enchant. But again, I guess you can see, too many people aren't really farming the new floor because there's not that many here. But it is a great enchant. Unfortunately, you can't get Legion from this floor, but in conjunction, those are a pretty powerful combo. So all in all, Floor 6 has added in some interesting new stuff, mind you. Like, I think it's great that they're deciding to be very risky with mechanics and changing the whole reset ability and just adding a new item for it. I think that's very cool. I'm interested to see how they go forward with it. If they nerf it, if they buff it. I would honestly prefer if they buff it, and so people could be a Necromancer in their own right. But I guess people would just kind of always have their own set of mobs with them. But to me, it's my favorite class build in like any game, so I'm definitely gonna try going it if possible, since it's literally my favorite thing to do. Swarm is also good. As I mentioned before, it does kind of change my focus of grinding for Chimera, since 80 crit damage or 80 strength, 50 crit damage is not really comparable to 50% bonus damage, 100% bonus damage. Like, it just pales in comparison to that kind of boost, which is kind of lame. I wish they would do dungeons and think about balancing for the rest of the part of the game, instead of just kind of just doing like chucking out that new enchant and just pretty much Chimera, which there's been so few of them in the game that there's just there's just none of, it's not worth it anymore. Unless it's like you could have multiple ulti enchants on a sword or something. Maybe if they go down that road, it might be good, but again, it just feels like they'll just spit on Chimera, which is something I was looking forward to grind. Anyway, I think we're up there. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye!